everyone and welcome back to my channel. So it has been a while. I filmed my meeting Jasper update at 3 weeks. He is now 7 weeks today. Life has been crazy. Newborn life is crazy, hence a long time in between videos, but I wanted to make sure I'd really sort of gone through some postpartum stuff before making this video. So without further ado, today's video is my postpartum journey so far. It's still continuing, and how I honestly feel about it, the struggles and the highs that I've gone through, my body and what I didn't expect, and also my must-haves for any of you who are about to have a baby and are gonna get hit with the postpartum. Also, just a heads up, I have ulcers all in my mouth at the moment, so if I sound a bit funny or I talk a bit funny, that is why. And also please ignore the mess. There is no time to clean that much anymore. Dan has just taken Jasper out as he needs me 24/7 at the moment. If you're interested in this video, then just keep on watching. So postpartum, let's just talk about the first few days to start with. I've got my notes here, so if I look down, that is why. So the first few days for me were just full of emotion. Like literally, as soon as he was born, I was just so overwhelmed with love and protection and joy and proud moments of me and Dan. All of those emotions just hit me like a ton of bricks. I didn't cry. It literally was just so much love and joy within me. Come day 3, boom. Was it day 3? Day 2 or day 3 when we went home from the hospital. That was it. The tears came like no tomorrow. Some people call it the baby blues. For me, it was a lot of just like reality had hit, and all of a sudden this tiny precious little baby was my sole responsibility with Dan. And I'm not lying to you, when we got discharged from the hospital, I was in the car park flooding with tears, and I cried the whole way home, and I didn't even know how to explain it. It wasn't sadness, it wasn't happiness, it was just an array of emotions. And I think where I hadn't cried at all in the first couple of days of Jasper's life, it all just came flooding out. And you think my body had just gone through a massive trauma to birth my son and the aftermath of that. So the emotions were real and they stayed for quite a while. The hormones really do go up and down, but that was the first real time where I just was uncontrollably crying. And I wasn't really emotional during my pregnancy, so I think it all literally bellowed out. Then let's talk about more the bleeding. You are going to bleed a lot. I remember literally after I've been stitched up, you go and have a shower and there's just blood everywhere. And it's quite scary, it's quite overwhelming, and then you get given your big pads. Also, just buy all the pads. You will need loads. So it starts off quite heavy. Obviously your body's gone through a massive trauma, it's getting rid of all the stuff that it doesn't need anymore. And it can be quite scary seeing all that blood, but just buy loads of pads. I bought loads from Boots, they're so cheap, and I have bled up until week 5. I'm now not bleeding anymore, and that gradually got lighter, so it was really good. I was able to sort of go on to just like period pads, like sanitary towels, that sort of stuff. But just be prepared for bleeding. Don't worry about it unless it's still really heavy and quite clot-like. But yeah, all the pads, because there is a lot of blood. And also I have literally, even now 7 weeks on, I am still wearing the big pants because mum life and it's comfy. So big pants and loads of pads. Also what everyone then talks about is the first time you need to go to the toilet. So I actually had a pile, a hemorrhoid, yeah, after birth. Obviously there's a lot of straining, I'm not embarrassed to say it happens to a lot of people. So number 1, I was a bit cautious of that, but number 2, I had been stitched as well, so the thought of going to the toilet is terrifying. Girls, just get through it. Once you've had that first one, it's fine. But to be honest, actually, I completely lost my appetite for the first 2 weeks of having Jasper. I lost a lot of weight, which isn't all bad, but it's not exactly good because I was breastfeeding, so I needed the calories. But yeah, I completely lost my appetite, and I was worried about not being healthy enough for Jasper and breastfeeding. But that came a lot with anxiety and the baby blues a little bit, and even thoughts of postnatal depression creeped in because, as you all know, I was stitched, and well, as you all know, I've had quite a hard time with breastfeeding. First couple of days, brilliant, but as soon as that milk comes in, wow, I had to go back into hospital and all sorts. But I am going to do a whole separate video about breastfeeding, so if you want to know my story and my journey so far, because I'm gradually, finally, really comfortable with it, I will be posting that soon, so hold up for that. Don't worry, I'm not going to talk too much about that in this video. I want to talk about it in my next one. But yeah, when the milk came in, the breastfeeding was really, really hard. The anxiety was really, really hard, and everything just went out the window. All of my emotions, my anxiety, how I felt the ability to be a mum. Oh, I feel a bit emotional talking about it now. It's just those emotions coming back a little bit, and yeah, it hit me for 6, and that happened on day 3. So I had no appetite. I was really struggling to feed my baby. Like, the anxiety was real. I was actually fearful of feeding him. So there was lots of hospital trips. During that time of literally being sofa bound, getting to grips with my new boobs, milk and pain and a tiny little baby, I also found out that my stitches decided not to heal. So I started to get a bit uncomfortable down there. It was really, really sore and stingy when I was going for a wee. I was doing the whole warm water as you're going to the toilet. Girls, amazing tip. Like, if you're getting a bit stingy, just sit on the toilet, get a little jug of warm water, or I was even peeing in the shower just to soothe that area, and just pour it on as you go, as it dilutes your wee so it stops the sting as much. Best tip. I didn't bother using any sort of sprays or anything down there, as I was really worried about infections or causing problems. But it turns out that my outer layer of stitches hadn't healed, so they stitched me from the inside out. It's one seamless stitch, and the doctor explained to me that you have like 3 or 4 layers, and all the inside had healed, but the outer layer of skin hadn't healed, so I had an open wound. So this was like day 5, and I was just completely blank to it by this point. The emotions had already hit. Like I said, I was struggling with the breastfeeding. We'd just come home from hospital, and I was back in hospital again with stitches, and they couldn't really do nothing because they said they're better off leaving it to heal on its own. But as you can tell, it was so uncomfortable. I was having to use a step to get in and out of the shower. Dan was having to literally help me get up the stairs, get in and out the shower, on and off the toilet. My stepdad also bought me a rubber ring to sit on the sofa because it was just agony. And it was just one of those things, I don't want to put anyone off, but it was just one of those things. Always trust your gut instinct if you feel something's not right. I literally called up a midwife, they came over, checked, and that was it. They knew things weren't quite healing properly down there. So that was that, and as that slowly was gradually getting better, I went to the midwives to get discharged. This was a few days later, and they weren't happy with my tummy. So basically they have a feel of your tummy to see where your womb and your uterus is, and mine was still very high, which they were not happy about. So we got referred straight back to hospital again, and we found out that I had placenta left inside. So this is a scary thing, because a lot of the time it can be toxic to your body, as your body does not need your placenta once your baby is out, and it was still left inside. Only a small bit. But so with that, I then had to go for scans, internal and external. So obviously I've got a wound down there, my stitches aren't healed, and I'm having an internal scan. To say that I was fed up with my body is an understatement. Like, I'd gone through this birth and I felt like everything was so positive, and I had a really lovely birth experience on my part. To then have my body reject me after and to betray me is how I felt in regards of emotions. And oh God, the emotions are real. In regards of emotions and just struggles that I felt like life was really testing me in regards of trying to feed and look after myself. Sorry, I don't know why I'm getting so emotional. I think it's just all the memories bringing it up. But yeah, I was really annoyed at myself for not being 100% for my baby. And that's when I started to get really low. Oh dear. The hormones are still here, as you can tell. Right, pull yourself together, you can get through this. So this is where I started to get really low, because my breastfeeding journey was really hard, and like I said, my body had been rejecting me. So I spent quite a lot of time crying and feeling rubbish, and actually wondering if the baby blues were turning into postnatal depression, which is really, really common. And if you feel like you are getting postnatal depression or you're going through any of those signs, please seek help and do not feel ashamed about it. It does not make you a bad mum. It does not make you a bad person. It does not make you a failure. It just makes you strong, and knowing that you're getting the right help for yourself emotionally to be the best you can be for your baby and your family. But yeah, so I started to become really low. I wasn't putting makeup on. I was hurt. I wasn't even leaving the house. I was just trying to get better, really, and just let my body heal and try and do the best I can. I had this whole, like, it sounds ridiculous, but I had this whole, like, vision in my mind before I was to have my son, that I was gonna be this mum who was out having coffee on day 2 and bounced back and literally took to it like a duck to water. And on my opinion, it was the opposite. Like, I literally didn't leave the house for nearly 4 to 5 weeks properly. By the time Dan went to work after week 2, I was literally a bit of a wreck. Like, being on my own was terrifying. I literally wanted family members around quite a lot, but then in the same breath, I didn't want anyone around. I almost wanted company, but then I didn't. I was in a very, not a dark place, because I was so in this bubble of newborn baby and love and protection, but also of rejection of my own body, that I was just all over the place. And it was just literally hit me like a ton of bricks, from going from having this lovely, wonderful, overwhelming love feeling to being in and out of hospital, my body just not healing, and wanting to be the best for my son and feeling like I wasn't, was a bit of a downward spiral. But the sun soon came out, and I started to slowly get better, and with the breastfeeding journey getting easier for me, and starting to realise that actually I was doing okay. I was doing the best I can for my son, and that was the main thing. And you know what, like girls, don't worry about not leaving the house. Like, I think I put makeup on 4 times in the first 4 weeks, maybe once a week, which was easier in the first couple of weeks because all he did was slept, whereas now it's proven to be difficult. This is not a regular occurrence. I was living in pajamas. I hardly got off the sofa. Literally, snacks, water and Netflix are your best friend during those early stages of newborn life and postpartum life. And do not soak it up. Don't worry if you don't leave the house. You don't need to go out and walk straight away. Let your body recover, let your body heal, and when you feel the time is right, go for it. Let your friends and your family bring you around food. Let them do some chores for you if needs be. My house is still a mess now, 7 weeks on, and I do not care, because I am soaking up every moment of my baby. And that took a lot from me to actually get my head around, because I'm quite a proud person. I've got a lot of pride, and to see that my body had fully gone, like the amount of people that see my boobs, see my bits, I just don't even care anymore. I literally have gone out in comfies, no makeup, looked a state, haven't showered for a few days. It doesn't matter, because everyone goes through it, and these people who thinks it's all sunshine and rainbows, it's a load of crap. Honestly, do not feel bad if you're not in that headspace, because I wasn't, and a lot of people aren't. I was anxious. I couldn't even go out with him on my own for ages. It terrified me, because I was in this constant cycle of, right, feed him, change him, he's now asleep, I've got 2 hours to do something. If he would go down, he wants to be on me. But don't pressure yourself. Like, it gets easier and everything is a phase. So don't pressure yourself to be looking like you did pre-pregnancy straight away, feeling like you did pre-pregnancy straight away, because it ain't gonna happen. So get rid of those expectations right now. So what you have to do with the loneliness is, I actually became a part of a lot of Facebook groups. I am a part of one for breastfeeding, which has been my saving grace, as well as a couple of my friends. One of my friends, I honestly aspire to be like her as a mum. You know who you are, Mrs. KP, you know who you are. She is absolutely amazing. She actually was the reason why I wanted to breastfeed, and she has been a crazy massive support for me. Surround yourself with people who are going through similar things, or who have been through those things. And also, I'm also just on a mum Facebook group, and it's just nice to be able to see that people are going through the same thing. Or if you've got you feel like it's a silly question or a worry, you can put it on there and people can give you advice, or that share the same experience. Also, Instagram has been amazing for me, not for the polished side of Instagram, but more for the mum support. The Mum Club, as Sam Thayer said in her book, is the best club to be a part of, and I cannot agree. And as soon as I've had Jasper and shared my experiences, the amount of mums who have messaged me, I feel like we're a real community, a real team, and it's so nice to be a part of that club and have that support. You don't need it next to you all the time, but knowing it's out there for you to get, you're never on your own, ever. Never ever. And of course, you can talk to your midwives and health visitors and stuff like that as well. So if you feel lonely, just remember, there are people out there for you to talk to, because sometimes talking to your partner and your friends is not as easy, or your family, because opinions can be a bit different, and you want to talk to someone who's maybe in that current situation exactly the same as you right at that current moment. So around week 3 to 5 was my lowest kind of moments, where I felt emotionally drained, obviously couldn't get anything done, my whole routine went out the window, and I actually had a moment where I felt like I had lost my identity. I can't wear the same things I used to wear. Number one, because my postpartum body is different to my pre-pregnancy baby body. Number two, I am breastfeeding, so I have to think about things that I wear, like buttons for easy access for my baby, for him to be able to feed. Number three, I wasn't able to put makeup on, or hardly even wash or do my hair, which is a main thing for me. It's what I've always done. I've always taken a lot of pride in my appearance, and to not be able to do that, I just felt, as a 23-year-old young woman, that I had completely lost myself, and my social life and everything. It just hit me like a ton of bricks, and that's why I felt so guilty, and the mum guilt was real, because why should I feel like that when I just brought this brand new baby into the world, who is my absolute pride and the love of my life, and all of a sudden I'm missing the selfish things in my life. It was just a really, really low time between week 3 and week 5, and I'm definitely out of that now at week 7. But you just got to remember, each thing is a phase, and you will get through it, and just make sure you've got the constant support around you. But don't feel bad for feeling like you've lost yourself a little bit, because you have. We all have. As soon as you become a mum, you're not your own priority anymore. Your baby is your number one priority, and if that means you can't put any mascara on that day, who cares? It doesn't matter. But things will come, and in a couple of years' time, in a few months' time, however the routine works for you and your family, you're going to be able to put your makeup on again. You can wear your clothes again when your breastfeeding journey finishes and your body goes back to how you want it beforehand. It's all a phase, and everything passes. So don't worry about it. But also, I'm just enjoying embracing my new mum bod and my new mum life. But yeah, I've really, really struggled, and I just wanted to be completely honest that it's okay to feel low and lonely and sad and down and selfish, because you've gone through a massive ordeal and the emotions are crazy. So you can feel like that. but as long as you make sure you get the right support around you and you get through it, then it's fine. So the final thing I want to talk to you about before I end up rambling about random things all over again is my body and how it's been postpartum. I think this is the main thing that people want to know. I am also going to film a fitness separate video and do updates of my body, probably in one video, just of how my postpartum body has been and what I'm doing to look after it. I'm not here to sort of want to massively change it, but I want to look after it now because it's gone through a massive ordeal and I want to be as healthy as I can for my baby. So yeah, so basically my tummy went down quite quickly. It was still quite a bump for the first few days, but I didn't have like a real pregnancy looking bump for quite a long time. It did go quite flat quite quickly. I don't know if that's to do with the breastfeeding, just because I'm small, I don't really know, or because I was quite into my fitness and everything beforehand and I exercised during my pregnancy. I don't know if these are all factors, but I tend to have lost my big bump quite quickly. It didn't sort of linger. What also came was my stretch marks. So I was very lucky that I hardly had any stretch marks throughout my pregnancy, but as soon as Jasper was born and everything sort of went back, the stretch marks have appeared. I will show you in pictures and little clips now. But yeah, also I found that my body has changed. My hips have got larger, my legs are also a bit larger, and my boobs are huge. I was only like a little 32B C cup, whereas now I don't even know, I'm not even wearing underwire bras. I have no idea what size they are now, but they are a lot bigger. But yeah, my hips are wider and it's fine. Like, it's fine. I'm okay with it. Like I said, I kind of lost my appetite at the beginning, so I think that kind of helped, and breastfeeding obviously helps as well. But yeah, I'm feeling proud of my body. As much as I was rejecting my body because it rejected me in those early stages, now that I've come out the other side, I can't believe what my body has done. I actually look back at pictures of me pregnant and think, wow, like, I was huge. And to carry my 8 pound 2 baby, who is now 10 pound 12, can I just say? Big baby, big boy, my big strong boy. Yeah, I can't believe that I homed him and I carried him and I birthed him, and that my body is glowing now. I feel the best I felt in a long time. I'm wearing jeans again now, which took ages. I was living in leggings. Please live in your leggings, girls. Don't worry about jeans and skirts and things like that. I've sized up, which I don't mind. I'm just embracing it, and I can't wait to start my fitness journey. Sorry, you could probably hear Jasper crying in the background, but this is my tummy. Sorry about my trouser mark. This is my tummy at 7 weeks. So I have lost it all pretty much now, but as you can see, it is still super wobbly, got no tone. I still very much have my dark line coming up here and my stretch marks. As you can see, my belly button has appeared and my boobs are huge. But yeah, this is just my postpartum look, to be honest. But yeah, I don't mind it at all. They're all my little love marks of creating my baby. Last thing I'm going to talk to you about is must-haves for postpartum. Number one is drink loads of water, because in the early stages, in the first few days, I was sweating a lot. I think it was getting rid of all the water retention, and because I was breastfeeding as well, I was thirsty constantly. I still am. So drink all the water, keep yourself hydrated. Always have snacks. Snack throughout the day, because you won't have much time to cook or make yourself anything. So make sure you've got snacks, or your partner or family bring you around food and stuff like that. Just snack all the time. A nursing pillow I found really handy in the early stages. Now that Jasper is bigger, I can just hold him to feed, but beforehand, because he was so tiny, I needed a lot of support around me. So nursing pillow, it don't have to be an expensive one, just a cheap one. has been ideal. All the pads, nipple pads, are now on washable nipple pads because I get through them like no tomorrow, because I'm literally a milk leaking machine. It is unreal. Have a bath now and again. Make sure you take a bit of time for self-care. And yeah, Netflix. That is my postpartum things to have. Don't worry about all the fancy stuff. Just literally eat, drink, sleep when you can. Please, in those early stages, sleep when your baby sleeps. Don't worry about your washing. Trust me. You then get used to the lack of sleep, kind of, so you don't need to do it as much later on, but please do it. And all the pads. Everything. Oh, and comfy clothes. So guys, that was my postpartum journey so far, up to sort of 7 weeks. I am now on week 7 and I feel really, really good. Jasper is doing amazing. He is sleeping between 2 to 4 hours during the night. I am solely breastfeeding him. He's an absolute dream. He's a chatterbox at the moment. He's really found his voice and his lungs, and he's a dream. But I would do a separate little video about him anyway, because I could be here all day talking about him otherwise. But yeah, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up for me, and please leave a comment below of your postpartum hacks, tricks, advice, anything. And yeah, but also just be you, let yourself sleep, let yourself rest, and just remember that your body has just done an incredible thing, so honor it and respect it. But yeah, thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye guys. Mum life reality. He's back and he's not happy. Oh. Can you hear Mummy? Can you hear Mummy? Oh, there we go. Oh, darling. Go on, get away from the light.